What up, you guys? Mr. Moony1235 here again. Just wanted to say before we start with the review, thank you for 200 subscribers. I know that's not a lot, but for a small timer like me, huge accomplishment. I hope the channel can keep growing. I hope people enjoy what I have to say about these albums. And I hope to keep on doing it for many years to come and get better at it as I go along. But anyway, on to the album. We're going to be taking a break from classic albums for just a second here to talk about something a little bit more modern. It's the new Ed Sheeran LP Plus. Ed Sheeran is a UK singer-songwriter, and I gotta say, man, this is a really solid debut album for this guy. I know this album came out last year, but I just now got around to really listening to it. The A-Team was the single that came off this song, and that song is so expertly written, and it's just so perfect. It has such a strong meaning to it that it's just like, I absolutely love this song. That was the first song I heard from this guy, and after hearing that, I immediately assumed that the rest of the album was going to sound like that. There are a few other acoustic songs in there, but surprisingly there are a few upbeat songs in there kind of resemble like hip-hop beats, and a few parts where he sings like really fast and then slows it back down again for the chorus. It really adds some variety in this thing that you would think would just be an acoustic slow record. And I really like that, because if the rest of the album sounded like the single, I would have probably been bored to death by like the 5th song. But there's actually some variety in there, and I love that. For example, my second favorite song of this album is called Grade 8, and it's really upbeat. It has a really catchy chorus, and it's just not something that you would expect. The song Small Bump is another one that I want to talk about. It's one of my favorite your baby's about to be born soon, but your baby dies soon after song. It is a sad fucking song, man. If you really sit down and listen to the lyrics of this song, you're gonna start crying. Unless you have like a black heart. It's rough, man. It's rough. I should have mentioned that before. The emotion in this album, oh god, the fucking emotion in this album. He carries it in his voice, he carries it in the guitar, he carries it in the backing instruments. So much emotion. It hits the heart. Even the upbeat songs are just like, emotion. For people who love that type of stuff in singer-songwriter music, this album is going to be your fucking bread and butter. That's what I love about it, and it's also the one complaint that I have about it. This is a very mood album. You have to be in the mood to listen to it, or you're going to think this is boring. I know I mentioned that thing about the upbeat songs, and that adds it better for me, but personally, like, if you just graduated high school, and you're like the happiest motherfucker on the planet Earth, you put on some Ed Sheeran, your mood is going to be like, ugh. Moments like that, you need to listen to something a little bit harder. But if you're feeling a little bit down and a little bit bored and a little bit depressed, you put this on, you're going to relate to it, and you're going to make it through the whole album, and you're going to love it. It just depends on what situation you're in when you listen to this thing, whether you really enjoy it, or you need to put on something else. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's not really a complaint, it's just something that I kind of feel. People who want to party should not listen to this, because they're going to hate it. People are feeling bored and a little depressed, gonna love this fucking thing. For example, it was Christmas Eve, I was driving to my parents' house, my roommate gave me this CD, I put it in my car, and as I was listening to it, it was raining on Christmas Eve. It was a really rainy Christmas Eve here in North Carolina. That just helped with the emotion of this so much, with that gray sky and the rain coming down, and like all I could really hear was the sound of my car and the music on this album. It matched so perfectly. Hard to explain, whatever. Your opinion, that's just what I think. A few of my favorite songs on this album are The A-Team, Drunk, UNI, Grade 8, Small Bump, and This City. Those are probably my favorite songs of the album. It's really good though. It's a really solid debut album from this guy. I'll be back with some classic album reviews next. Mr. Moony1235,